How you doing, everybody? This week on the Ski Rex Media Podcast, the recorded show, I'm going to talk about the live stream from this past Saturday real quick, and I'm also going to talk about a little backcountry guilt. What is that? Well, I'll explain coming up here on the Ski Rex Media Podcast. Everybody, it's Tim from Ski Rex Media, your beloved Z-List host of a Z-List celebrity host of a Z-List podcast that's part of a Z-List website and news media outlet and blog and all that good stuff. I am Tim, once again, like I said. How we doing, everybody, this week? I hope your isolation, quarantine, social distancing, everything is going well. And we're going to actually talk about that again a little bit for today's podcast. We're going to talk about it a little bit more, even though I really want to stop. And I really kind of feel stupid making this episode this week because two reasons. One, I had trouble coming up with a topic. The topic for my commentary, my weekly commentary podcast. I had trouble coming up with a topic because I was trying to put so much energy into the live stream that everything else kind of not really fell by the wayside, but I couldn't balance it. I couldn't juggle it. You know what I mean? So I kind of lost track of getting a topic for this week, and hopefully next week will be better. But so I ended up going with, in part because of an Instagram post I saw today, and we'll get into who posted it and what it said and why. And that gave me the idea for the social distancing, the backcountry guilt, using backcountry for social distancing. Like I said, we'll get into that in a few minutes. And a pro skier put it up and so on. But what I really want to start with, and I know again I'm already babbling, and I just got to wake up. That's all I got to do. I'm half asleep here. It's 9:00 on a Monday. That's not late, but when you haven't been sleeping, it's late. So forgive me. Well, don't forgive me. Just bear with me for a few minutes. Let's get into it. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'll even leave this biff in. I won't even edit it out. Let's do this. So let's start talking about last Saturday's live stream real quick. And that was awesome. And I want to thank the people who were there and even the people who weren't there, because some of them came by. I know people have been watching the replay. So I imagine it's got to be some of the folks that wanted to be there but weren't able to, watch the live broadcast, the live stream. So again, I'm not hitting, hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, but people are watching it and it's been good feedback so far, especially I think I have the advantage of it being my first time. So people are, I get a little leeway for that. And as we go and do more of them, which we are going to do, which I am going to do, they will get better, and I should get better. And if I don't get better, then I'll stop. But, for now, I am going to do another one this coming Saturday. What is the date this Saturday? I don't even know what we got here. Today is the 6th. So that means Tuesday 7, Wednesday 8, Thursday 9, Friday 10, Saturday the 11th. That's what it is, Saturday the 11th. So Saturday the 11th, April 11th, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, the same thing is going to happen. I'll start it up about 8:45. Everybody comes in at 9 o'clock. The show will start. But this time, and I put a post up today on Monday that a lot of people seen. I can't say a lot, but enough people saw to throw in, to weigh in their opinions. Do we want to do a topic? Do we want to do freeform? And I'm kind of doing freeform tonight with this, but I could do freeform again. But it seems the consensus is have a few topics, intermix it with freeform, make sure we keep the social interaction with the viewers. It seems pretty standard and it seems pretty easy. But I'm just trying to get it right. So that's what we're going to do. I'll have a couple topics kicking around. I've had some suggestions. A few of those I like, so I'll definitely use those. There'll be guest interaction. I'll have the Twitter feed up in the corner again. We'll do the same thing. And we'll see how it goes because I had fun doing it. I didn't realize not how much fatigue one person could get from talking for an hour straight. Not till I was talking to myself, but I was talking by myself. So it it wore me out a little bit. So by the end, where it seemed like I was running out of steam, it wasn't that I was running out of steam with stuff to talk about. It was, I was physically running out of steam. Like I was just like, I needed a commercial break. And if I feel that's what it will take and we do want to go past that hour, I'll whip up you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to whip up a Ski Rex Media commercial. It'll probably just be something goofy, not like a real full video commercial. It'll just be a picture I put on screen and, just to give me a minute to catch my breath, get a drink, hit the bathroom if I have to, and then come back and the show will continue. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But on the 11th, and it should be Saturday the 11th, we just counted it out, at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Going to do it again. I'm going to make sure it's posted up so everybody knows so we can get more people in there. And again, thank you everyone who was there. I know a bunch of you who were in there that night listen to and watch this podcast every week. And then some of the other ones were just friends who don't typically listen to it. I don't think any of my friends have really listened to a podcast of mine. I think that was the first, real, seeing me in action doing this, trying this. So that's what that is. And I thank everybody, and it was fun, and we're going to do it again. And if you didn't see it and want to, the replay is on the YouTube channel. Again, in the description, you go down there, you go to the YouTube channel, and it'll be there. You'll see it. The inaugural Ski Rex Media live stream and hashtag virtual operate party. Also to that point, since I have everybody's attention who's watching this or listening to this, I did the dance music this past time because I wanted it to be, party-like, virtual operate party. But even I can only take so much dance music. The problem is getting copyright-free music that's not going to cost me a shitload of money. And if it could cost me zero money, it'd be best. None of those tracks I used that you heard in the background that night cost me anything. It was from YouTube's own audio library. So there was no copyright, no fee, no nothing. But I'd like to get that rock music going. You know me. I like the rock. I like the metal. So if you know of anything, let me know. Emails, direct messages. If you are in a band and you want me to use your rock music and you will let me without the copyright issue and not charging me anything, let me know about that too. We'll do something, just to change it up a little bit. But this Saturday, again, it could be the virtual operate party all over again. So we might get into the dance music, but if I can get the rock music in, or maybe not even use music at all, because this is a talk show program mostly. So maybe we'll do that. I don't know. But like I said, I just wanted to recap that real quick, and we talked about all kinds of stuff. So go ahead and check out that replay if you want. It is about an hour 15. So it is kind of long, but it was kind of fun, and people found it entertaining, and maybe the next one will be more entertaining. Now, with the recap done, let's get into today's actual topic of backcountry guilt during the COVID-19 isolation and quarantine and stay home and shelter in place orders. So the main topic tonight is once again on the subject of COVID-19, a coronavirus, the outbreak that we're all dealing with, the outbreak that we're seeing in the news. Every form of news is talking about it. Mainstream regular news, smaller independent outlets, me in the ski media business, the business papers, everybody's talking about it. Entertainment news, everybody's talking about it. And I'm trying to get away from it. I really am. It's hard because that's what everybody's talking about. And unfortunately, there is news to report. Even on skirexmedia.com, I've been doing, written news pieces about, how the big corporations so far have announced what they are doing to mitigate the financial loss, if I use the word mitigate correctly, to lessen the financial loss. And that's cutting projects. That's, getting the seasonal layoffs early, putting full-time year-round on furlough and all this other stuff. And beyond that, so there is news to report, but beyond that, I'm trying to stay away from COVID-19 as a topic, but everybody's talking about it. We can't seem to get away from it. So I'm going to bring my phone over here because I have something I want to read to you guys here in a minute. Because there was a post that kind of speaks to where we're at with the social distancing part of it. Well, let me put it in context. We've been talking a lot here and, in other outlets too, not just skiing, but other sports related outlets talking about hiking, mountain biking, so on and so forth. People like us who enjoy mountain sports and obviously skiing, snowboarding specifically, but other mountain sports, hiking, mountain biking, climbing, we thought we had carte blanche during COVID-19, during the coronavirus social distancing guidelines. You're using those guidelines because those sports can be done away from people. So for skiers and snowboarders, everybody took to the backcountry. It was a great idea. Everybody knew it until everybody did it. And as we talked about last week and during the week in the written, here in the East at Mount Washington, over here in New Hampshire, they ended up closing that down because 400 people showed up. 400 people. And, you got to hike up into the Tuckerman Ravine over at Mount Washington. That's what closed down, Tuckerman Ravine specifically. And, but when you have 400 people going up that trail or coming down that trail or both at the same time and then getting into that area, it's not a big area. And we saw it in Colorado, people just cars, hundreds of people. Well, I can't say hundreds because I don't know the exact numbers out there, but just cars for days, it looked like, lined up on the road and people hanging out. And our beautiful social distancing activity plan backfired hardcore. So what do? Some people have still been going up and out there, and some people can. I've been joking around about it saying, you think you know the best secret spot? You don't. Everybody's going to be there. It's not true. Some people know some spots or they have more experience and greater ability and can get even deeper into the woods or deeper into the, backcountry, up into the higher mountains, where a lot of people can't necessarily get to if you don't have those skills, if you don't have that experience being able to do that. Which brings me to the post that I want to talk about. It was posted by pro skier, awesome skier, featured in tons of ski films. Some of my favorite that he's been from Nimbus Independent. Everybody knows I love Nimbus Independent. I love Eric Pollard. I love his work. I love his directing abilities. I love him as a skier. I love his art, all of it. But it wasn't him. It was Pep Fujas who posted this. And he posted some pictures. So let me put it up on the screen here real quick so you all can see it. And you can see that here, and you're going to see that it's cut off, and that's my fault because I zoomed in on the post on my computer to get a nice clean shot. And for you audio folks, I know you can't see it, but I'm going to read it out loud. This is what Pep wrote. He says, "I feel very hesitant to post these photos from last week because of what. We distanced and skied tame lines, but I still feel guilty. Should I feel guilty? Is this a non-essential act? Yes and no. This is my profession. Are there inherent dangers? Yes. Should I be promoting outdoor activity? Yes, as long as it's done responsibly. Nature indeed nurtures and lifts up the human spirit. The crystal clearness of the non-polluted sky is truly breathtaking, particularly from an alpine vantage. Yes, the mountains will still be here next year when this is all over, and the snow will cover them, and we will ski. Is it time to hang up our skis or keep on responsibly?" So that's what our brother Pep Fujas said, and he did that on Instagram, and his pictures are beautiful, and he's way the hell out in the middle of nowhere in Utah. Well, he's not in the middle of nowhere, but he looks like he's out there all alone. And he has an interesting point. Should he feel guilty for being out there? I don't know. I really don't know. Because here's the difference between what he's doing and what other people have been doing, and why what he was doing was more what we thought we could all do if we were going out of the backcountry. If you look at those pictures on the Instagram post, and I'll make sure it's linked in the description so you can see it, and that's audio and video people, the description's the same. He was literally alone. Maybe he had another person with him, I don't know. But he didn't have hundreds of people. He didn't have a group. He was out there. There was nobody out there. So is that still responsible? And according to some of the guidelines, it would be. Now, some of the guidelines are starting to change from town to town, city to city, state to state, region to region, as, cases increase. Cases of the coronavirus, or this coronavirus, to be more accurate, increase depending on where we are in the country. New York City is having problems. here in Vermont, our cases are increasing, but it's not, it's not nearly as many. But, and I mean, you could say, New York, 9 million people, Vermont, less than 1 million in the whole state. There is a difference there. But the point is, some places are having a rougher time with this. But that means the guidelines there are different than the guidelines here, the guidelines in Utah, the guidelines in the PNW, the guidelines in California or in Florida or in that southern region, and they're going to be different in Canada and so on and so forth around the world, as each place is going to be having to deal with this in a different way. So now we have Pep Fujas going out and saying, should he be guilty? Because it is his job. Like, skiing is his job. That's how he gets paid. And he does promote outdoor activity, and so he can do that, or he should be doing that, as long as it is done responsibly. And I think that is his point, is he tried to do it as best as he could, follow the guidelines as best as he could, and do it as responsibly as he could, not like everybody who's rushing to the same spot to go uphill together when we're trying to stay, so far apart. I don't know if he should feel guilty, though. That's why I was coming on here, really, not just to talk about COVID-19 and social distancing and enjoying the outdoors responsibly, because we can go outdoors for the most part. We really can. Those guidelines say we can, and we should. You got to get fresh air. You don't want to go stir crazy. I go outside, as this was starting, I did a podcast from the backyard. But then I'm all alone in my backyard, and even if I threw a party, I couldn't get 400 people in my backyard. So that's me being responsible and being outside. Even if one goes and takes a drive, I see people talking about it. I see people on the roads all the time. I don't. I've seen traffic at, even for a little town in Vermont, I've seen it even less than it normally is. There was a little backup today, but I don't know what that was about. That was weird. It was the first backup I've seen here in weeks, but it really, some of those people aren't going out to go to the store, which, you may or may not be able to do, again, depending on where you live, and whatever, rules, guidelines, regulations that are in place. But some, it's not just a frivolous, even if it is frivolous, they're just in their car driving around wasting gas. I've done that. I won't lie about it. My carbon footprint increases on some days, but even since this quarantine started, I've done it twice. So, I haven't been going anywhere. I've been staying home mostly. And if I do go out, I'm in my car. I don't get out of the car, and I don't even stop the car if I don't have to, unless I come to a red light or a stop sign, I don't stop. So there you go. It is possible to be out and be responsible for yourself and those around you. And was Mr. Fujas responsible as long as he was out there by himself, or if he was out there with one other person that he's always with? Again, it's a toss-up. So should he feel guilty? And like I said, that's what I wanted to answer today. And I can't, because this is just, it's funny. We don't know how to handle this. We don't have any, we know how to handle it. We just don't have any experience with it. This stuff doesn't happen often. We live in the 21st century. We live in a world where information travels, in less than the blink of an eye. I'm snapping my fingers here doing this, and that's information's faster than that. So typically what you would expect, or what we all expected or assumed, or maybe we've become complacent in the idea of, if a virus like this breaks out in China, we would know about it and could shut it down before it could spread. Actually, some preppers and some sci-fi writers, and I think even the CDC said something about this at one Halloween, said that's one of the reasons a zombie apocalypse, a viral zombie apocalypse, isn't possible. Because obviously it's fiction, but if there was a virus that caused it, we would know about it and be able to lock everything down and stop the spread. But it didn't really work that way with this. And it could be complacency, it could be arrogance, it could be a lot of things. But we aren't experienced. So even though all these guidelines are now in effect, not that I'm giving anybody an excuse to be out and doing this, I'm not. We've heard it. All you got to do is hear it once. Stay home, stay away from people, be distant, only go to places you need to go when you need to go. So I'm definitely not giving an excuse, but I'm not surprised that it's not totally working either. And I don't even know why I'm going off on this rant. It has nothing to do with my point. I guess it does in a way. But as long as we are enjoying the outdoors responsibly, and Mr. Fujas, he did seem to be doing it responsibly. So should he feel guilty? Not really. If it was as it appears, if he was actually up there with 20 people, then he should totally feel guilty about it. Because it's like, dude, I get where you're coming from. I get that you have, a skill set that allows you to get even deeper. But if you're still kind of breaking the rules, then you're breaking the rules. And that's just that. It's very black and white. But, if he wasn't breaking the rules, it was him and one other person out there, then that's pretty socially distant. And that's, as responsibly. And even he said in his post, we should do these things, but we should do it responsibly. The thing is that we haven't been doing it responsibly, and it's not always easy to do it responsibly. And then nobody thinks about it. Like, as people were showing up to those, I'll even do it local, Tuckerman Ravine in New Hampshire. As people were showing up, they should have been able to look at this, pull up in their car and say, all right, there's 10 cars here. I probably shouldn't do this. Because getting up the Tuckerman Ravine, if I remember correctly, and I've never actually done it, I've only seen the trail map, it is a single trail. So if you're going up and you cross paths, you're bumping shoulders, So even if there's 10 cars there, you should look at it like, maybe this isn't a good idea. It doesn't matter what your opinion of the virus is, There's still people on every side talking about it's just a hard-hitting flu. It's the worst thing we've ever seen. It's created by Bill Gates. It was created to be weaponized by the Chinese. Whatever conspiracy theory you have, that's a joke, the conspiracy theory stuff. But whatever opinion you have, that this stuff is going on, and it might just be better to look at it and say, all right, maybe I shouldn't go up. And that's with 10 cars. And with 10 cars, you see that there because there might be 10 people up there. You might be like, all right, it might be a toss-up. But as you pull up and see enough cars that have 400 people in it, it's probably a good idea to turn around and get the hell out of there. But again, I don't know because I'm not out there. And I've never been through a pandemic before. If this is even actually a pandemic, I don't even know. I know what the word means, but does this count? I don't know. I've been through hurricanes and blizzards and small, I can't really say earthquakes, but tremors. I've experienced a lot of shit in my day. I don't know anything about this. I love the prepper lifestyle. I don't know anything about this. I use my skiing skills as part of my prepper skills, and I've talked about that in a different podcast, and I think I'd like to talk about it again sometime. But all joking aside and all, being over dramatic and melodrama aside, to answer the question, should he feel guilty or should any of us feel guilty about being in the backcountry? I don't know. I don't know, because if you're doing it responsibly, you probably shouldn't be, but then what is responsibly now? As this thing continues, the guidelines get a little tighter and, justifiably so. So, I really don't know. What I do know is I guess we should just keep it up. We should just keep up the social distancing and everything and try and have fun inside and just be in our yards if we have yards and, do what you can when you can away from people. Just follow the guidelines. Because I'd love to tell you, yeah, it's cool to go out. I see people jogging all the time, and you could probably get away with that depending on the area you're in. Here you can get away with that. It's probably okay because, not a lot of people. But, in places like New York City, you really can't get away with it. As far as I know, again, I'm not down there. I don't know what's actually happening in town. I only know what I read, or read or watch. So I don't know. I really don't know. All that talking, and I've come around today's topic to say, is there backcountry guilt? There is. Should people feel it? I don't know. I really don't know. And it kind of sucks that I can't come to a conclusion on that one, but I try to come to balanced conclusions, and I just haven't worked it out yet. I will probably work it out, and as this thing starts to run its course and we get to the end and we go back outside and we can reflect and look back on it, then I'll definitely be able to give you a full opinion. If you want to write down this episode and say, all right, Tim, you couldn't figure it out before, figure it out now that it's over, I'll figure it out for you. But for now, I can't figure it out for you. All I can say is that, Pep, if you ever see this for whatever reason, number one, definitely a fan, love your work. Number two, I don't know, you asked the question, I can't answer it, dude. Should you feel guilty? I don't know, because you were doing it right from the looks of the pictures. From the looks of the pictures, it looked like you were out there all alone with a camera person. That's about as right as I think it's supposed to be. Maybe? I don't know. I just don't know. But what I do know is, right or wrong, people like Pep Fujas and everybody who's still keeping their content going, and most of it you see is from past days, from earlier in the season, from, a year or two ago. It's in the past. They aren't getting their photos and videos now, but because they do the great work that they do, or they did the great work that they did, these pros and these influencers, even some of them, and filmmakers and photographers, they're keeping the dream alive. They're keeping the stoke alive while we're waiting to get back out there. And for a lot of us, that might not be till next winter, but that's okay, dude, man. Keep it alive. Keep those thoughts. Keep those positive thoughts. Keep those dreams alive, like I keep telling you. I'm looking forward to next season. I was hoping my next season would start at Big Snow America, but we don't know when that's going to reopen, or even if it will. I don't know what their financial situation is for the American Dream Mall. I don't know if this closure has just killed the mall completely. Who the hell knows? But I'm keeping the dream alive, because next season is my grand return to the stage, as in the ski mountain, and it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be awesome. So I think this one's gone pretty well. I couldn't answer the question, backcountry guilt. Is it a thing? And yes and no, and I don't know. And that's what we'll get into, a few weeks or months down the line to figure it out. But don't have guilt about going outside as long as you are doing it responsibly. It may suck to run 5 miles around your backyard, but if that's what you got to do, man, go for it. It's like I always say, you can have an adventure in your backyard. So this episode was kind of a mess, kind of a jumble. Like I said, half free form, half topic, and then, just recapping the live stream real quick. So I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I hope it was entertaining. And if it wasn't, you can tell me that too. Remember, I can't learn if you're not honest. And believe me, I'm brutally honest with myself. Usually when I record these, I hate them until I listen to them again. Then I only hate them a little, and then I give them out to you, and you all said I did a good job. Because I'm my own worst critic, just like all of us are, and you should never critique your own stuff. Always get a second set of eyes, or a third set, or a fourth set of eyes, or ears, or whatever. All right, so Tim from Ski Rex Media, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate all the support through the comments and the messages and the emails and all that, fan mail type stuff. I love it, and it does help. And I do take your suggestions the best I can, but not a lot of suggestions come through. But you do help with topics, and you do help with Q&As, and that might be part of the live stream too. As we're in there and you're in the comment section talking, you want to throw out questions, give them to me. I'll answer them on the fly. And if I don't know what I'm talking about, either I'll trip through it and look like a dummy, or I'll tell you straight up, look, I don't even know anything about that. I can't do it right now. Okay. So join me Saturday for that. I'll be putting that on social media. The social media links, I did not use my shameless plug bar that I use for the live streams. I don't think I need that here, but I might do something with it. If I make a better bar, because I do kind of want to get in and try to make it a better shameless plug bar, you might see that start in the recorded version as well as the live version. All right? But follow me on the social medias, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook, all of those links at the bottom. If you want to support the show, go ahead and jump on the Patreon. 3 patrons, you'll see their names in the credits. That's part of it. Starts at $1, but I don't really have a paywall. So the content will still be there, but if you'd like to show your support and help out and keep the program going, that might help out if you could do that. Also, merch. More merch has been selling. There's a sale going on right now to the 15% off everything, whether you want tees or hoodies or whatever. All right. Check out the merch shop. Also down in the link down in the description. People have it. Rob G, Tech Rob at Twitter. He'll tell you all about it if you want to ask him about it. He'll tell you all about the merch. He's got a bunch of it and he loves it. All right, so there you go, kids. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for watching. I am Tim from Ski Rex Media, Z-List celebrity and your humble host, if I am humble. And I will see you on the next one, and I'll literally see you on Wednesday. Well, not literally see you, but you will see me live on Saturday. All right, kids? Thanks again. Laters.